Today we'll learn about HTML helper and tag helper. So basically, what is HTML helper? It's nothing but it's a kind of method that will return a string. For what? For the HTML purpose, to make our HTML type a little bit less and easier to us. So actually HTML helper and tag helper both are the similar things, but tag helper is little bit advanced than the HTML helper. It creates a little bit more neat and clean UI, and both utilizes the tag helper, tag builder kind of thing internally to provide us these kind of things. So let's say if you want to generate a link, kind of this, then we have an option called HTML action link, and then we provide the text that we want and the details. I will show you how these are coming. So these kind of tags we can use to build our HTML views. So this is the way how we use our HTML helper. So let's see how it's working. So if I will open our HTML view. Oh, sorry. What is the view name that we are watching? Student detail. So let's open that view. Student detail. This is the view. So if we have to create a link, we'll add the red tag and provide the name that we need and where we want to redirect it. Or how to learn this. If you do like this, IntelliSense will show you like what is the string that you want to show in text and what is the action name where you want to redirect it. So this will generate the HTML that is needed for the link. Very similar to that, if you're working with a form, you can use a begin form. If you have to create a checkbox, you can use checkbox for, drop down, in form. These are the way that we do. Like if you want to build a radio button, so we have a radio button, we provide the name and the value. So this is the way we utilize HTML helper. So they are the ready-made HTML helpers that we can use. We can also create our custom HTML helper too. But though we have a little bit advanced one, so I will show you how to create a tag helper in place of showing the how to create HTML helper. Once you know tag helper, you can create custom HTML helper if you need. So basically, they both utilize tag helper class. So we need to understand what is tag helper. Tag builder. Basically, the tag builder class contains the inside the MVC system.web.mvc namespace. Basically, it have a 5 methods. Generally, we need a attribute or method to pass the CSS class. We need an ID. We need to merge attributes. So it enables to merge attributes. I will show you how to merge. And then we can set the inner text and we can finally return the value from that string. So these are the things that tag builder class will have. So they have a special properties as well. So among them, one is attribute that we utilize, IT attributes, inner HTML, and the tag name, what tag name we want to build. So these method and properties gives us all for the basic method and property that we need to build up an HTML tags. So actually what we do, we utilize them all today. and we build our custom tag helper with the help of all these. But before diving inside, we at least need to know what is the definition of tag helper. I already told you what is HTML helper. So tag helper basically are very similar with HTML helper, but it provides us a way to write our HTML very neat and clean with a very good intelligence, so that we just press the first key, it will show us help like what you can do. So let's try to create and then we use. So what is our plan to build today? I will show you first. Previously, how we generated our grid. If you look on this, uh, let's go in our index of student. So we created this grid with the help of HTML and the loop. How we had done? We had written over here table header. And after that, what we had done? We had a for each loop. For every column, we are adding value. And we have actions. So these are the things that we had created with the pure HTML along with the model with a razor syntax. So our target is replace this HTML with the help of tag helper. So we'll create a tag helper for this so that we will write one line and we can generate a similar kind of table that we had just seen. So to do that, we have two ways. One is we can create that tag helper inside this project, or we can create a new project for the tag helper so that we can totally utilize it in many projects. Write once, use in many places. So let's create a new project so that you have a full control. So I will add one project. How to add new project? Just find out the add new. And what we need a class library. So for the class library, we'll say next. So let's provide a good name for our this tag helper. So we'll say wave controls tag helper. It's up to you what you write. I just given one name. So our project is ready to select the target framework. So obviously we are going to create with .NET 6. After this, we will have a new class library. And as you know, what we do with this first class, we delete them. And after deleting this, what we do? We create one class inside this. So we'll say add class and we'll provide a, let's say, our grid tag helper. You can name it properly as per your need. So I just added a class. And you know what we do with this? We make this one public so that we can use this class outside of this namespace. After that, what we need? We need few namespace for using this tag helper. So we need ASP.NET Core.Razor, ASP.NET Core MVC, and System.Reflection. So how to add? Just copy this one, and we have to open our package manager from here, and then we have to install this one. So how? We go in the browse section, search for this tag helper. So just take this one and install it. Okay. Then I have to accept. So one is done. Another we need this Razor runtime to install it. We have to accept it. So let's back to our class. It says I still need this one. So let's search this one too. If you create this tag helper inside that project, you not have to add these packages because they are already inside that project. So let's add this one. We have to add this HTML target element so that this class become now a HTML target element that we can target from the our view. And we have a name called grid. We are creating our grid. With that, we need to implement one class that is tag helper. So this tag helper basically an abstract class. We have to overwrite methods for our implementation. So we need to have how to know which method to overwrite. If you go inside the definition, you can find what are the things this one have. So these are the signature. So basically we have to overwrite this method as this is the virtual one. So we will override this method. How? We will say let's have a public override and we get the same signature that I just shown you guys how. So now we have to implement all the HTML that I had shown you like a table, TD, etc. As well as we have to know how many rows and how many columns we need. So for that, we need to expose few property so that we can pass that from the view. So for that, what we need at least one property for the. So I will declare one constant because this will be the name that will be exposed outside, and then we will get that value from the view. So I will say this one equals items. So whatever the data we want to get from the view, we'll get within this. With this name, basically this is attribute name. Also, we need that data for the traversal. So what do we say? Let's create one property. How we do that? This is the way to do. And this one will be the name. So in the name, will get the item enumerable so that we can loop inside and create few HTML. So this is the property that we need. And we need some CSS kind of things. So we also want to expose one property for now so that we can pass the CSS class name also. So this way, in this way, like we can name it as we need, but for now I have just tried to name it like so that it will be easier. So it's a class name that we pass from outside, and we will assign that property to our table, and within this we'll get the data. Now with that we need to create a table. So how to create a table? It's very easy in Tag Helper. I already told you we have a tag builder. So what we do, we'll say create one object with tag builder, and let's name it table because we need a table, because this tag builder can be used for creating any HTML. So for now we are creating a table tag for the HTML. With that we need an ID for that table. So what do we say? We'll say object dot, that is table dot generate ID, and we will say ID. So we have a context and we say context dot unique ID. So always create one unique ID for this table. With that, what we do? We say table dot add CSS class. So how we get the CSS class? We just expose the property over here, that is CSS class. So we'll say add the CSS class name from here. So we just created a table with ID and CSS class. Now we need to know what are the data that we have from the view that comes inside this items. So to do that, what we can do, this is also one way, like we will create a var and we will say attributes. We want attributes from the context. So we'll say context dot all attributes dot where. So I'm going to write a lambda expression so that we can get the few data from there. So I'm going to create a variable ATR attribute from ATR dot name not equal to this name. Then we want to get it to dictionary. So with the dictionary, what we say, actually this one is a little bit complex for you guys, but try to understand. This is the easiest way. Otherwise, you have to write too many lines to do the same thing. So again, we say go in atr.name and then provide us atr name and atr dot oh sorry atr and then atr dot value. You can see the IntelliJ code is suggesting me to write the code as well. It's very good tool. So in this way, we will get all the attributes, name and the value inside this one. So we got now all these items from the items. Now, as I told you, we have a merge attributes. So what we do, as we got all these things, so we'll say table dot merge attribute. I'm trying to write everything, guys, today so that you learn the tag helper. This is very, very helpful if you work in your bigger project in coming days. Merge attributes. And what is the signature? String and object, and all the attributes will be merged with this table. Now we merged everything inside this table. Now we have to create tr as a row. So how we can do that? We can say var tr equals new, what we can say tag builder. And how to create tr? Just a simple, very similar we had done for the table. So tag builder. Here we can write the tag builder as well. We can use the var as well. So I'm mixing the things so that you know there are many ways to write the same thing. But generally it will be the preferable from my side. This one I generally not prefer. Then we will say we need a heading. So we'll say var heading equals items dot first, because we have everything inside our item. So this one will return heading to for us. So what is the output? Totally object we have an object. Now with the heading, what we can do, we can get all the properties that is inside this heading in our array. So we created one array, and with the help of reflection, this code is coming from the reflection. So with the heading, we are asking get type and get all properties to hold on this array. As this one will be the property info array. Now, as we have array, we can loop inside that. So we'll say for each. And as you know, we can write with for as well, and we can do it for each. So let's write for each for now. So for each property in this properties, what we do? We loop. So now we have to build tag builder again, because we have to create for the table header th. So tag builder, we'll say header call. You can name it as you need. Now tag builder, we'll say create th. So table head will be created with this. With this header call, what we can do? We can write the name on the inside that heading. So we'll say dot inner HTML and inner HTML dot append. We have dot append. So what we do? Prop dot what? Name dot toString, because we need the string value right inside the th. So in this way we are able to set. With that, what we do? As we already have tr on the above, so we'll add tr dot inner HTML and then dot append HTML dot this header column. As we have a header column data, we can add that column inside our row. So this will completed our heading part of the table. Now we need to create a few lines for our data. So that is also very similar to this one. What we do? As you know, we can do with the help of for loop, or we can go with for each. So for now, I will go with for each. So we'll say for each item inside the items. Where is items? That we are getting from outside. This one is the items. So we have a for each loop, and we'll loop that many times that we have number of items inside the items. So for that, what we need? We need a tag builder. So we'll say this time again, as we already have a tr, we'll say now tr equals new tr. So our tr is ready. After within the tr, what we do? We need to create a number of columns that we have inside our items. So this time I will write with for loop so that you understand we can do the same thing with for loop as well. So this is the way we are missing here. So we have a for loop I equals 0, and that length we have inside the properties, that is column, and then we do the I plus plus. Again, what we need? We need to create a column. So how we create a column? Again, we have a tag builder. So this tag builder is very handy, guys. Just you provide the name that tag you want to create. So I created a column, and then what I have to do? I have to add the property inside that column. So in the column inner HTML, I will append the property value inside that column, that inside the TD. So once it's done, okay, what we have to do? We have to add this column somewhere inside our TR. So how we can do that? We can do that TR dot inner HTML, and then append HTML, append HTML. Remember, we are appending the HTML. So our call is appended with tr. With that, we created the header. We created the row, number of item rows that we have inside the items, and then we created the column with this inner for loop, and we added inside that tr. Now what we have to do? We have to somehow append these trs inside the table. So after this for each, what we do? We'll say table dot and inner HTML dot append what? HTML. What inside? We need to add our tr. So now tr is appended. Finally, where we have to add this, this is outside and table is done, right? Now this one is done for the for loop, and this one is for the for each loop. So we got our tr completed with td. We added everything. Now table is also added. Finally, what we have to do? We have to output our content, output dot content dot set HTML content with our table. So this one will be the output of this method. Let's check once. We created table, we created properties, we created for each items, and we appended it. We had written output as well. So with that, we are able to complete our basic grid tag helper. Now let's build it first so that we can confirm everything is okay. Hopefully it builds successfully if we are not missing anything. Okay, so it succeeded now. After this, what we do, if we have to use this project in our MVC project, what we do? We will add the reference of this one inside this project. So we'll say add project reference. And what is the project name that we just created? The project name is Web Control Tag Helper. So I just added it. After that, we can create one view. So let's add a view inside the student. And let's use our MPT view for now. Then we will say our grid view HTML. With that, we need to get our model back to this view. So how we do that? Just copy it from any our previous index HTML. So we need enumerable type of view, right? So this one is the enumerable type of view. I will copy it. Now, this is the time we have to use our grid. How we do that? What is the name of our grid? Before using it, we have to tell us our Visual Studio. I had created a tag helper that you should read. So inside this view import.cshtml, remember the location. This is the inside the view folder. Inside the view folder, view imports. So in view imports, we will add one more line. And this time we will add the name of our this project, and the name of the project is this one, that is namespace. So once you imported it, now it understands that we have a tag helper. So as soon as what is the name of our class? This is the grid. So we'll say grid. Remember, the color is changed now. If you write anything, the color is different, right? So it's able to understand our grid. With that, what we created, items equals what we have. We have a model. And what we need to pass the CSS class. So CSS class name equals what you want to pass. We have a class table in Bootstrap. With that, we are done, guys. But to run this one, what we have to do, we have to create at least one controller. So let's create a one controller that will return this view. So this one is our view. Where is the view? Our grid view. So to avoid any mistake, just I copied the name and visit our controller. I will say public iAction result. Then this is the name that we want. And with that, what we do? We return. If we return any data, then only we can get the grid, right? So let's get the data that we have in index. Just return all our student. So We already written code, we just copy pasted. So with this view, if everything is correct, we will get the similar kind of grid. So let's go with what to say, debug mode. Let's see. So the beauty of tag helper comes now in any view. If you want grid, just you can write a single line, everything is done. That is the beauty. So if you can think that how much time you can save. Once first time it takes time, but after that it's raw. Oh, what happened? We got error. What is the error? An item with the same key has already added equals class name. Oh, so this is the runtime error, guys. Now I have to fix this one. So in place of grid, let's say our grid, and then try to run. Because I already created a one project with the same thing to check everything. That is why it got conflict, I think. So I just change the name. What is the view name? The view name is our grid view. So this time we got one data. So we are missing something. We need to loop many times, but we got looped only one times. So we done some mistake somewhere. Let's check it out because we have a many data. As we see in our index, we have this much data, right? But we got only one data. Why so? Let's fix it. So we have to go in our grid helper and we may be missing in loop somewhere. So we got heading correct. We got for each item, for every item, right? And then we appended everything. So we created a TR over here. That is also good. With that TR, we created a for loop and we created a column and we appended where inside the TR. Every time we appended. So TR is appended. Then if TR is appended, then what we do? TR is appended. Then here. Every time we have to append, not in the last. So if I will run now, look, we got a table and the table is exactly output is pure HTML. We have table, we have class name, and we have all the rows that we have. But can you see we are missing the heading? Like what is this one? We not have anything over here. So for the heading, what we missed, we also need to find out. where we are missing for the heading. So for the heading, let's find out our code. Inside our grid helper, we created heading. Everything is ready over here. We added inside the table row, but we not added inside the our table. So what we have to do, we have to add this table dot inner HTML dot append HTML. What to append? We have to append the tr that we just created above. So with this, if we run again, we will get the heading as well. I'm trying to explain everything, guys. Hopefully you are getting how we fix in our real life work. So this is the way we do. What is the name of our controller? The controller name is our grid view. So this time loop, we got the heading as well. Now we need to add edit action, delete action also, right? So to do that, we need few more properties to pass edit action. We can pass other properties too. So for that, we have to add few more properties. How to add? Very similar to this class name. We can add few more properties. So for now, I will create few more properties. One for edit action, one for delete action, one for DTL action. But the implementation that I will do, edit and delete, I will leave DTL action for you guys. So I created attributes. So we can set these values from the UI. So how to set that value? We can just copy this name from here and pass the values from over there. We just go inside this one and we'll say my daily edit action is this one and my delete action is this one. So we'll pass that value from here. Now we got the value, but to generate that th and that columns, we also need to add in this somewhere. So as our header is created over here, before this, we need one heading that have a heading name equals actions. So how we can do that? We will create one more tag builder and that will have a th and we will say the string is actions and we'll add that inside that tr and tr is already added inside our table. So the job of heading is done. After that, we need to add the data columns. So I had written this one is for the for loop because I need to utilize this one now. If I had written this one with for each, the work that I am going to now, it will be difficult to write with that for each. So not a bigger difficulties, but it takes little bit time. So in place of doing that, what we do, we will add one condition like we need in every row, but for the last column. If that is last column, then we have to create tag builder for the edit and delete. So how we can do that? We create TD, we'll create actions, everything. So I will just copy paste to save the time. We created one more TD. Within that TD, we will create another a link and we'll say redirect in the same place, and we will get the value for the action from there, and we will add the ID, and for the edit we append them and we'll say the text is edit, and after that we are add separator so that it will looks a little bit nice, and then we'll create another a link for the delete, and the similar thing we again repeat, very similar to this. And the target we can apply the self or blank. If you say blank, it will open in new window. If you write down the self, it will open in the same window. And then again, what we do, we'll add everything for the edit, and we'll say this is our delete and in tag. So with that, we added everything. Now what we can do, we have to pass the data as well from here, as we just had created the blank. So what we have to pass, we have to pass we have to, let's ask with our you guys so that you guys also know how to pass. Though I know, but I will copy in front of you so that you guys also know. So we have to copy the value that is over here, not the ID one, but this is student and student, that is the action name that we have. But for now, without that value, if I will try to open, what I will get? I got everything, but this one will not work because we not have a value inside this one. So we got a perfect grid working, but we need to pass that value. How we pass? I already told you. We will copy the action name that we had created for the edit. So I will go and I will say edit attribute. But for now, I will just copy this one. So very, very intelligent. Now I will pass the same thing for this one. Oh, I copied for the add. But what is the name of our edit? We can find it from our controller. Actually, not have to copy from there. So what is the name of our edit? This one is edit. So we'll say student edit. And if you have something further, delete, you will write for the delete. For now, I'll keep the same thing. But here you have to, if you have a controller for delete, you can add over here. With that, it's cool to use anywhere this grid, guys. So though it taken time, nearly few minutes for us writing from the scratch, but now for any grid, what you have to write? You have to write just a single line. And your code will be much, much, much cleaner than that lot of TRTDs. So The magical tool that you guys see anywhere, actually nothing is magical. Someone had written somewhere, that is why it will works for you. So this time if I will go and open our view, and I will open our edit. If I will click, it will take me in the same page that we have in edit. So this is the way we create a tag helper. And very similarly, with these ideas, you can create for the HTML helper too.